Stephen Ladd here from HumanFormFitness.com, and today's instructional video, we want to go over self-myofascial release for the lower body. Now, self-myofascial release is a fancy term. You basically can think of it as self-massage. Oftentimes referred to as foam rolling, but as we'll talk about, you don't always have to use a foam roller. Sometimes there are other tools that are better for specific areas of the body. There is some scientific debate as to how exactly self-myofascial release works, how the foam roller is able to make you feel better. We have been using it for almost 15 years in some way or another, and we can tell you that for the vast majority of people, it does work. It helps the muscles, gets blood flow to the muscles, helps the muscles feel looser. Basically, we're working on quality of tissue, and so restoring some range of motion, some elasticity to the muscle itself. Now, how do you know which areas should be foam rolled? Well, of course, here at Human Form, you go through an assessment, and based on that orthopedic assessment, we determine which muscles are tight and could use foam rolling. However, you can also just go ahead and foam roll the areas I'll show you today. If you feel excessive tenderness, that's a good indication that you do indeed need to roll that area. So that's kind of the easy way to figure it out. There'll be a difference between pressure, because obviously there'll be pressure on these areas, and tenderness. And you're looking for the areas that are tender, a little bit sharp. Of course, there's a diminishing point of return. You don't want to have it be so challenging that it's painful and you can't relax into the foam roller. So with that said, we're going to go ahead and start our lower body instructional session here, starting with the feet. Now, the plantar fascia is the fascia that's all the way on the bottom of your feet. Perhaps fascia runs through the whole body system all the way to the top of the head. I've actually had some members get relief for headaches just by releasing their plantar fascia. So for this, we're actually going to use a lacrosse ball. You could use a tennis ball, a little softer, obviously. A golf ball is even more intense with both the hardness and the smaller contact area. So basically, I'm going to stand up. I'll have the video be more focused on my foot here. I'm basically going to be rolling back and forth over my foot, on the other side of my foot, looking for the tender area. Now, for most people, that is the arch. However, you may find that you're more tender in the heel area or more toward the ball of the foot. Find an area that's particularly tender, focus on that a little bit more. You'd be surprised how much pressure you should be able to put on this area without it actually feeling sharp and like pain. If you feel a lot of tenderness, it means that you need this particular release, and I would do it daily, maybe a couple times a day. Soon the areas of discomfort will go down immensely, and that will be an indication to you that that area is becoming a higher quality tissue area. We're going to move now down onto the floor. I have two different foam rollers here. There are all kinds of foam rollers. This is a high-density black foam roller, the one we usually recommend. There are more medieval torture-looking ones like this, just more intense, gets into the muscles a little deeper with these knobs on here. So we're going to look at the major areas of the lower body, starting out with what for most people is the most challenging one, which is the IT band. The IT band runs down along the side of the leg from the hip down to the knee. Runners and other athletes oftentimes have problems with the IT band. Here, this is the position, one of the more awkward ones. Obviously, I have some pressure on my forearm. I'm keeping my core engaged to not stress my low back. But most of the pressure here is on my left leg, in this case, the bottom leg, just above the knee. I'm going to put pressure on the floor as much as I need to, okay, as well take some, if it's too intense, on my IT band. I'm going to slowly work down. Therefore, the foam roller is coming upward, closer to my hip. If I find a really intense spot, I can stop on it, breathe into it a couple of times, and or go back and forth over it, but only a few inches at a time. Work myself all the way down. I'm going to go a little quicker here for the sake of time in the video, but you can spend more time doing that. All the way up to the hip. We never roll over a joint, hip joint, knee joint. We always stop short of that. Next, I'm going to have you roll over onto your quadriceps. So here I have pressure on both forearms here. I'm keeping a little tension in my core, so my low back is not stressed. And here I'm going to walk up this way. Again, the pressure is on, like in this case, both quadriceps, feeling for tenderness. Now, if this is not enough pressure and you think you could take more, you can just go ahead and cross the legs over, so now all the pressure is on just one of my thighs, or my quadricep muscles here, going back and forth, finding the tender areas that way. Hamstrings on the other side, same sort of thing. Butt can come up off the floor just a little bit, and you can roll the hamstrings bilaterally like this, both at one time, or cross over, put a little bit more pressure on that, come down, and then rotate the leg in and out to get a little bit of lateral and medial hamstring involvement there. Calves, same situation. I want you to pick the butt off the floor just ever so slightly. You can roll the belly of the calf this way. You can also roll the feet internally, externally, and then, of course, you can also double up here, which should be plenty of a good amount of pressure and discomfort for you to work in and out and around through the belly of the calf muscle that way. Again, our goal with this is to restore some range of motion and soften up, if you will, those muscle groups. Next, we'll hit the glutes, or your butt muscles. Now you can use this foam roller in this position here, same side leg that the butt's being worked here, cross it over and you can roll in. Again, you can manipulate your positioning so that you're searching out for those tight areas and fibers this way. Another favorite though is to bring back the lacrosse ball, which again is harder and has a smaller point of contact, so it's a bit more intense. Cross the same side leg over and lean into this side. You'll find plenty of areas in and around the glutes and those deep hip rotators that are often really tight and hard to stretch. And you can work in this way, shift back and forth and really get in there and release some of those muscles as well. So there you have an overall view of the lower body, the basic lower body movements. I would recommend this to be done prior to stretching. If you're going to stretch, it can be done prior to a workout and or after a workout, again, to restore length and healthy quality to those muscle tissues. If you have any questions, please leave a comment below, and we'll see you next time.